Hello everyone, welcome to a new year of weekly art inspirations. I sound like I'm starting like a cult or something. Probably not on that one. Like I said before guys, welcome to the new year of weekly art inspirations. I'm sure this is going to be going up a little later in the month of January, but this week we will be doing a continuation of the making a magnet, and this will be part 2. I will be showing you guys some of the funny things that I did wrong and a few little things that I just wanted to show you guys, but here's where we're at the moment. I am not going to be using this mold, but I'm also going to try making one with this mold just to see if it even works. I really don't think it will, but we're going to give it a shot. So with that said guys, let's head over to my desk and let's get started on making an actual mold for this little guy. Okay guys, so here are some of the things. I will also have it in the description below, a list of things that we're going to be using. I'm going to be using this amazing mold putty. As you can see, it's 20 bucks at my local Hobby Lobby. I think we got 50% off or 40% off, so a little bit less than that. And I also have my little creature here. Now, because it's wax clay, I am making a mold out of this because I was going to use some mold maker that you melt it and then pour it over. Because it would get hot, I can't do that. So that's why I'm switching my tactics here a little bit, and we're going to be using the mold putty. It's kind of exactly what it sounds like. It's putty. You mix equal parts together and then you put it on top of this and let it dry for I think about an hour to 2 hours. And then it's ready to be able to use, and it actually is flexible enough that you can take out the different things you're working on, so it should make it very easy to make this next part of our magnet. With making this, you have to mix 2 parts of the mold maker. It takes about, I believe, 25 minutes to fully cure, so not super long for the mold to be ready, but just making it, I believe you have about 5 minutes. And when I was doing this, I just wanted to make sure it was completely around it, and then I went and washed my hands and left that for a bit. And this next part right here, I just wanted to fill my little crappy mold with some Mod Podge to try and make sure that the surface was kind of a little bit glossier. Okay guys, so before I go on to the next part of trying out the crappy mold that I made, if this does work, it'll be an inexpensive way if you want to make one for yourself. That's what I'm hoping it'll be. And then the other way is going to be a little bit more expensive if you want to make a number of copies. But here is my bag full of tricks. This has all of my pearlx powder and the different kinds of sparkles I use. Pearlx powder is just used so that you can taint the resin you're using to be different colors, and then the powders and the sparkly stuff just make it look cool. So that's one of the things. I'm going to try and do one as a golden wolf and the other one as a dark gray wolf. So that's just going to be heads up on what we're doing. There's my bag of tricks, and let's go back over to my desk. Once again, mixing 2 equal parts of the Easy Cast, mixing those together for about probably 30 seconds, and then I'm adding in the pearlx powders and different things that I wanted to have in there, sparkles, and then just pouring it into my crappy mold that is the clay mold. Okay, so it should be good now. We're just going to demold this little guy from it. Oh, and it looks like it worked out really, really well. Look at how good the detail is in there. Okay, so now with that finished, let's see here, there's a little bit of stuff stuck in the bottom. Got that out. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, now that I've done that, you can see that it's really shiny from being in there. So what we're gonna do now is I am going to grab some of my craft mold release stuff, and I'm going to spray it once to make sure that it has just a little bit in there so it doesn't get stuck in the mold and all of the important places. And then we're going to get our Easy Cast out once again, and we're gonna just go for it. So let's get going on it. After mixing the equal parts and putting in the pearlx powders once again for this one, I did wait about a day before I came back and unmolded this in the next part of the video. It'll take about that long for either of them to be okay and solid enough to pull out. Sometimes I've waited about 4 or 5 hours. It just depends on how warm your climate is and how much moisture there is in the air. So demolding the second one should be fairly simple. With this nice mold, it should just pop out, just like that. Some of the details got a little skew-womp, but we can fix that. We can sand some of this down and make this work so that we can make it into our magnet. I'm also going to do some light color into it, but there's our finished little wolf cast. So I'm going to put him aside and we're going to move on to the other harder one. Okay guys, so our inexpensive way is going to be this. A ton of bubbles happened. I'm not totally sure why that is. I have a few ideas, but I'm not totally sure offhand. There is an absolute butt ton of bubbles back here, so I am just gonna have to deal with that later. But we're definitely not gonna be getting this out the normal way, so we are gonna have to break this apart. So let's get started breaking it. So I originally thought when starting this it would be very simple. This took me about 30 minutes to do. I finally had to get a sock and a hammer to do like a geode style to break it, and finally then it started having pieces come off. It did work though, guys, so this is a plausible way to make a very cheap mold. Okay, so our end result is, this is our beginning one right there. That's what we started with. This is the one that came from the mold that I like using, which kept a lot of the details that I wanted. And then the last one right here that came from making it in a not so perfect mold. There's still a lot. I have washed it as much as I can, but some of the clay has decided to just stay caked on and will not come off. It's definitely not the best thing you could do, but it does make a cast. So I mean, if you want to cast it that way, that's fine. I wouldn't recommend it, but it can be done. I don't know where all these bubbles came from, but it also kind of ruined the integrity of it. I think there's bubbles throughout it, so it's kind of a little, I mean, if you can see that, that's not from it not curing, that's just it apparently having bubbles through it, so it's quite malleable. It will probably break at some point, but I will try and paint this one as well so you can see a comparison of the two. I'm going to sand a few of these rough edges down and then we'll get started painting. For the sanding I usually use nail files, and for the carving away edges I use my wood carving knife. As well as with these paints, I'm just using classic acrylic paints, and then I'm going to put a little varnish on top of them to seal them. I decided that the one that I did that was in the clay mold actually looked really cool once you painted on the details, so I just finished it by painting on some details all the way around it and added this little coat of varnish. So that's what happened with these ones. I was really surprised at how well both of them actually turned out. The one made out of clay turned out a lot better than I expected. The back still had a lot of bubbles, but they still turned out looking really cool. So just really quick, we stole a magnet from the back of this. I found an extra piece, stole it, so we're gonna get rid of that and keep this to go on the back of these. I just kind of cut it to size on this. I would probably suggest getting better magnets than I'm using right here, something like a round magnet, and you actually could, if you had it, put it in while the resin is kind of curing when it gets to kind of a sticky phase. That would be smarter. I'm just using some super glue right here to put it on the back, and it was already kind of sticky, so it worked out. I did about 2 layers. We have come out finally to my fridge, and we are going to find out, will these work? It works, guys! Okay, more or less. This one, I knew this one would have a problem because it's so kind of off. I'm sure I can fix that, so give me 1 second and we'll get both of these up. So there is the finished product, guys. I am so glad you guys could come along on this journey. If you guys make any cool magnets or anything like this, please be sure to hashtag #ArtSprites and let me know on Instagram or on here or wherever it is on DeviantArt. Find me, let me know. I would love to share your incredible works too. I am so happy this worked out. This little guy up here is gonna need a better one because he kind of slides, but they have worked out. I hope you guys really have a fantastic week. Happy New Year once again. It is still January, hopefully, when this goes up. Please stay incredible, guys. Stay amazing. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, subscribe right here, and ring that bell notification if you want to get more fun weekly art inspirations like this. If you guys have any comments for what I should do, be sure to let me know below or on Instagram. And over here is a list of other videos that you could watch if you want. So, have a great day, guys. Stay inspired, stay amazing, and howl a lot. So, see ya. Bye, guys.